Hey, everybody. In this episode of the Healthy Real Food podcast, I sit down with Laurie Lundgren, a remarkable woman who has transformed her life by losing 60 pounds and keeping it off for over 4 years, all through a sustainable sugar and flour-free lifestyle. Laurie didn't just lose weight, she created hundreds of delicious recipes that make this journey so much easier and more enjoyable for the rest of us. With 2 cookbooks under her belt, Laurie shares not only her incredible story of transformation, but also the powerful mindset shifts that helped her to maintain long-term success. Join us for this inspiring interview and don't miss the Q&A session at the end, where Laurie answers audience questions about staying motivated, handling setbacks, and making healthy eating truly fun. This is the Healthy Real Food podcast. I'm your coach, Erin Hart, a registered nurse and health coach who understands the struggle of feeling out of control around food and has walked the path of transformation, experiencing the miracle of sustainable weight loss with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. If you are a woman who feels powerless against your cravings and is ready to live your life with more energy, mental clarity, and purpose, there is hope. Here we believe that with God, a mindset of unstoppability, and consistent execution of a winning strategy, anything is possible for you. So if you're ready to find freedom from food addiction, take control of your health, and pursue your dreams with renewed energy, support, and accountability, let's go. Let's go ahead and get started, you guys. So welcome, Wendy, Patricia, Susan, Dawn. So glad you guys joined us. We'll see who else hops on. This is Wednesday Wellness. So my name's Erin Hart. I'm a registered nurse and a health coach, and I empower women to lose weight with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. Laurie and I are friends. Laurie, I miss you. We haven't talked
I
in
miss
so
you
long.
too.
We were in a mastermind group together, and it's just so fun to see all this stuff that you're doing. So I'm
Yep.
really glad that you're able to join us today. In my coaching program, like, it was funny because we talk about you a lot. It's fun because like, everyone talks about your recipes, and the other day, everyone was talking about your recipe books, and I was like, I should just call her, see if she'll come for Wednesday Wellness. So I'm so glad that you joined us, and
Oh
I'm
my
excited
gosh.
I'm excited to pick your brain and just also hear about your story, let you tell your story. I think it's really inspiring to hear stories of people who have done what we're trying to do, right? There's 2 ways to create a winning strategy. It's either by learning from our own mistakes and adjusting our strategy till we get it right, or we can learn from people who have been successful at what we're trying to do and do what they did. So that's the shortcut. And so the reason I started these Wednesday wellness calls, we do this every month. It's the first Wednesday, usually the first Wednesday of each month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, where we meet here on Zoom. Every other month, we do an inspiring interview like this, like with Laurie and with other people who have achieved extraordinary success with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. And then on the odd months, on the opposite months, we have a book club where we come and discuss an inspiring or motivating or educational book to help with your sugar and flour-free lifestyle. This is part of the Healthy Real Food podcast. So each week I share inspiration and education in the Monday mindset. So be sure to check that out. But we're just so honored to have you here, Laurie. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome. Looks like we have some more people hopping on. Hi, Janelle. All right. So the way that we're going to do this today, you guys, I'm just going to ask Laurie to share her story with us, and we're going to have a little interview. And then at the end of the call, we're going to open it up for a Q&A so that you can ask your questions to Laurie. If you have questions about your program or your health goals or recipes, or this is a really fun time to be able to talk with her, and she can give you her 2 bits. This call is about 45 minutes, and so the last 15 minutes we'll try to go over to our Q&A. So Laurie, tell us a little bit about yourself. We all know who you are. Maybe some people on the podcast aren't familiar with your story. So tell
Okay.
us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to a sugar and flour free lifestyle.
Yeah, sure. A lot of you probably do know me as the author of the Tasty Freedom Cookbooks. I still don't think of myself like that. I am somebody who has had a struggle in the past with just food had such a hold on me. I was just literally ruled by cravings. I am today, though, I am 4 years and 3 months sober from sugar and flour. And I have all that time, I have not dabbled in it. And it has been just a miracle in my life. But I guess a little about me. I live in the Madison, Wisconsin area. I'm 56 years old and I have two grown daughters. And my oldest is Annie and she's a second grade teacher. And then my youngest is Julia. We call her Jules, and she is a business partner with me in my business. I have a business we are in business 30 years. In April will be our 30th year in business. And that is called Laurie Lundgren Color and Design. And so we do design consulting for homeowners who are making changes to their homes. And I also have a background as a mural painting artist and children's book illustrator. And so I'm an artist. And I know that my creativity absolutely kicked in this lifestyle, which is why my brain was primed to create recipes to be sugar and flour free. And my recipes have helped me stay on course so that I don't go back to my old ways. Because the food that I create in my Tasty Freedom cookbooks, it's like super delicious and I don't miss the old way of eating at all. But yeah, my everyday life it's a little different than it was when I first started my weight loss journey, but it's essentially very much a routine that I kind of stick by.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So before you started the sugar and flour free lifestyle, what was life like for you compared to now? What
Mm.
prompted you to go sugar and flour free?
What prompted me ultimately was it was the pandemic and I started September 6th, 2020. And I had given myself a pass at the beginning of the pandemic. Oh, we're in quarantine. Like somehow I equated that to I can eat whatever I want. And I just gained and gained. But I had been on a roller coaster of weight loss and weight gain and weight loss and weight gain. I was a 5-time Weight Watcher reoffender. Yeah, I would really go. My meetings were on Monday nights at Weight Watchers, and I would leave the meeting and I would go straight to the McDonald's drive through. And I was just white knuckling it all the time because the cravings in the past, when I was still trying to moderate sugar and flour, where I was just trying to have less or be good, the cravings never ever went away. And it was just, I was so tired of battling. I was tired of either saying, I can do this, come on, Lori, or forget it. I'm not I can't do this, but I was also in so much pain physically. My body hurt everywhere, and I just felt like I needed a permanent solution because what I had been trying was so temporary. I was tired of feeling that way and tired of feeling like hopelessly gaining weight every time I turned around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I relate so much. Like the dieting roller coaster is exhausting. And so many of us relate with that, having ridden that roller coaster a lot of our lives, right? Just having that constant battle with cravings and constant food thoughts and the weight thoughts and just it can really take over so much of your life when we do that. The physical pain. I think we started around the same time. I started in 2020 also. And I was 284 pounds, and that's how I felt too. I was a Weight Watchers, like, lifetime member too, and it's exhausting. It's a hard place to be, for sure. It took me getting to rock bottom to be able to want to commit to something like a sugar and flour-free lifestyle, but it's been so life-changing. So for you, what's changed for you? What's different now?
I would say, let me just back up just a little bit. So when I did commit to this sugar and flour free life, it was a 100% commitment. I saw myself as I knew there was some science behind this, a lot of science behind this and why this works. And although I'm an artist and not a scientist, I thought, why don't I treat this like a science experiment? And I'm going to be this clean, perfectly clean lab rat. And if you're going to run this experiment on yourself, I am not going to mess this up by introducing any kind of like variations. I'm just going to be accurate with how I approach this. And I didn't want to do it for somewhat or some of the time or make excuses for holidays or birthdays. So I jumped in with both feet and I treated it like a brand new fun hobby, something that I didn't know anything about. I told myself it's not a diet. I've done that before, but I've never done this before. I've never become like sober from these problem foods that have shown me over and over. I see my patterns. I know exactly what this does to me. Why am I thinking I can moderate this? I can't. So it became extremely helpful for me when I had the analogy of it would be like if finally figured out that I must be an alcoholic because I can't have just one drink. I have to have more. I don't struggle with the alcohol portion, but that is a parallel example for me. I was not somebody who could moderate and just have one. So when this eating lifestyle came across my path, I didn't just say, I want to do it to lose weight. I said to myself, I need to figure out this permanent solution and abstain 100% from sugar, and that included for me artificial sweeteners, because to me that was too much of the same brain thoughts, like it would start the cravings all over. So I gave up all sugar, artificial sweetener, and then all forms of flour, and I started to feel better. Within 24 hours, I felt better, and I thought, "This is working, and I don't think I'm gonna stop," and I started to lose weight, and it took me 9 months to lose my weight. I lost 60 pounds in 9 months, and you asked me what's different now than then. So I'm 4 years and 3 months in to this, and what's different is I am less strict with myself about what time of day I eat and maybe even how much compliant food I eat at given meals, but I am the same level of sobriety that I was at the beginning. I do not dabble in sugar and flour because I know what happens to me. I go off the rails and a little looser on I might eat more compliant food. I know a lot of people try to do the maintenance where they're really strict, and I beat myself up for a while that I wasn't so strict on that until I realized, Lori, you're doing this. You're 4 years in, and I have so much peace. I don't battle cravings anymore. I don't crave that food anymore. And like the liberation and freedom is my win. That to me is my miracle. So
Yeah.
guys, everybody may have their own way of maintaining, but mine may be different than other people's, but it's working for me.
Yes, I love it, Laurie. And I think it's so important to know that, yeah, there is not a one size fits all plan that works for everyone. Like, you just have to find what works for you. But like you said, understanding the science of food addiction It really is so empowering to know that there is nothing wrong with us, that and it also helps us to know a strategy that can help. Like moderation, it work some people can totally moderate, but other people who have brains like you and I, and maybe some of the people on the call who have quote unquote tried it all, right? And been on that dieting roller coaster, abstinence is so much easier than moderation for
Yeah.
us, right? And I love that you just went all in and never looked back. That's so great. But I'm sure it wasn't like a straight road to success, right? Like I'm sure you had some bumps on the road. Tell us a little bit about the messy middle. What are some of the challenges that you faced on your journey?
Okay. I can't say that my middle was all that messy, Erin. It really wasn't. I know that is because I had such a messy middle leading up to this. What I'm trying to say is I have had so many attempts, so many over the years. I almost say I'm almost glad that I didn't figure this out until I was 50 something because I think in my 30s, 40s, I would try losing weight and I would think, surely I can go back to my old ways of eating. But every single time I did, I gained all the weight back and more. And this time when I approached this, I was like, no, there's no such thing as surely I can go back to my old ways of eating because my messiness had already happened so many times over so many attempts that this time I didn't mess around. I did so it was actually pretty straight shot, but that was because of all my past attempts that I messed around and but I did I am somebody who likes a lot of variety in my food, and I love flavors, and I love, like, flavor combinations, and I'm a foodie, and so I knew for sure I guess you could say my messy middle was realizing that, okay, since this eating no sugar and no flour stops the cravings. It was a miracle. I was
Mhm.
5 days into this, and it was like, something happened. I crossed over to the other side, and I could not even believe that I could walk past, like, the stuff at the convenience store and not have it call to me. And so I really did this is how my recipes were born is because I knew that this way of eating is going to work for me. It's my ticket out. But I also knew myself well enough to know that I get really bored on diet food and it makes me mad. I get resentful. I'm like, "Mm, I just want chicken pot pie." And so I would like rebel. But this time I was like, no, I am going to create a compliant way to eat chicken pot pie. I am if I have a craving for some kind of cake or muffin, I am going to figure this out and I am going to make my own version of that doesn't have artificial sweeteners, doesn't have flour of any kind, doesn't even have like almond flour, just none of that. It does have grain, it does have an egg, it does have the grain is oats, it does have fruit, so I eat fruit, I just don't eat added sugars. At each step of the way, as I would have this thought about it wasn't as much of a craving at that time as it was a thought about, "Oh, that's right. If I stick with this, I'll never be able to eat such and such again." As soon as I would have that thought, I guess I just started creating that version of that thing that I'm like, "There, now I won't have to miss that. Okay, that's taken care of." And anyway, in the meantime, yes, I have created hundreds and hundreds of recipes that are in Tasty Freedom Cookbook. I have a 1 and a 2, Tasty Freedom 1 and Tasty Freedom 2. And there's bread recipes, muffins, cakes, casseroles. There's even sushi, soups and salads and ice cream alternatives, pizza, it's all in there. The only thing I haven't duplicated is chocolate, and so I just don't think about that. Just don't
Yeah.
do that. And
Um,
I don't miss it, and so it really is a non-issue for me, but Yeah, I'm grateful beyond measure for my own creativity. That might sound weird, but I use these cookbooks every day as if I didn't even write them. Like I need them so much. They are my everyday guidepost on I know that's the whole like I know that I probably would have dabbled or cheated if I didn't have my recipes because it would be I wouldn't have a substitution, but I do now.
Yes, I
It
love
makes it easy.
yeah, and your recipes, they're also so simple, like, it's not like they're super complicated recipes, it's such a fun and creative way to bring to light different ways to live your sugar and flour free lifestyle, like, it's so creative and, yeah, they're delicious, like, people are talking in the comments of just how, like, "I make your muffins every week, they're so good." So, yeah, I love it, and I love how you also approached this goal and this lifestyle just going all in. Like sometimes it's really easy to have one foot in, one foot out, but 100% is so much easier than 95%, right? And it's not that it's better like making mistakes. Most of the people that I know haven't been 100% perfect all the time. And and I think it's good because then you learn from your mistakes and then you can do that self-reflection and learn going forward. Like having struggled for years and you know that all of those failed attempts at weight loss in the past where you've lost the weight and then regained it all back and more. Like it's just those aren't truly failures. I like to think of them as learning opportunities. And it really primed you to
Yeah,
get to that place where you were wiser and you knew that you couldn't mess around and you knew that this time had to be different. So, yeah, no matter how many times we try and fail, there's always hope. Like our mistakes are really just stepping stones to help us to learn and grow and adjust our strategies so we can be successful moving forward.
that is so true.
Yeah, that's such a you're such a great example of that, of how you really adjusted your strategy until you found what worked for you. And it's important for us all to have the lifestyle mentality and really ditch the diet mentality, right? I think that is the key to success with this lifestyle is that it isn't a diet, right? This is a lifestyle and having that mindset and ditching deadlines and timelines and stuff, I think focusing on the process, focusing on one meal at a time. Yeah, over time, your success becomes inevitable if you just stick to the plan and
Mhm.
you just have that mindset of unstoppability. So way
Erin,
to go, Laurie.
yeah, thank you. Erin, if I could, I would like to share right on the heels of what you just said. I look at this way of eating as it's like a paradigm shift. It's a whole different way of looking at eating. To me, I've realized that eating is a skill,
Mhm.
and it's a whole, like a paradigm shift has occurred in my life that eating is a skill and skills are something that we develop sometimes through the door into that is sometimes as a fun thing. Like, could take an example of a hobby. If you pick up an interest in knitting or a new sport or like pickleball, what do? It's like you start to just think, I'm interested in this. I'm going to devote some time. I'm even going to like, the more time I spend on it, the more I didn't used to know how to do this, but now I'm getting better at it. And I'm taking it seriously. I'm even gonna buy some new gear or some new equipment or some new supplies. And next thing you develop skills in something that you approach from the beginning as this will be a fun hobby. This will be something new. And then those skills become something that you do over and over until you've mastered it and you realize this is not only easy, it's fun and relaxing.
Yes.
And that's exactly what this lifestyle becomes because it all sounds so daunting at first, and it sounds like you're gonna give some things up, but and me and thousands of other people will say, it's not at all like, I am beyond grateful that I had to give that up. Life is so much easier. without it. And not only that is like I have skills for I know how to prep my food. I never even bothered to do things like that before, but I plan ahead and prep my food because I want tomorrow's Lori to have an easier day. And I think about taking care of tomorrow's me. And in the paradigm shift, I took Merriam-Webster's definition of a paradigm shift and then I reworked it a little bit and made it apply to us. I'm just going to read it here if I could.
Yes, please.
Merriam Webster defines a paradigm shift as an important change that happens when the usual way of thinking about or method of doing something is replaced by a new and different way. And as it relates to us, we could say it this way: a paradigm shift is an important change that happens when the usual way of thinking about eating or method of eating is replaced by a new and different way of eating.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's so good, Laurie. Because I think a lot of people, they start this lifestyle and or they think of starting this lifestyle and it can feel really overwhelming and paralyzing, right? To just take those first steps.
Mhm.
And so I love the growth mindset that you shared. Just recognizing eating is a skill. That's such a great thought. And it just like any skill, like riding your bike, playing the piano, pickleball, like you said, usually we're not that great at it at first. Like it does feel hard. When I was teaching my or when my little girls were taking piano lessons, they were really bad at first. And it was hard for them. And with time and consistent effort, and you can become a master at it. And it's the
Mhm.
same with this lifestyle, with changing our relationship with food. At first, it does feel hard. It can feel harder because you are making changes to a lifetime of habits. But with time and consistency and an abundance of patience, anything is possible for you. And it can become easy and effortless
Mhm.
when you create that, when you have that paradigm shift. And I think also what your cookbooks can do for people is help go from that deprivation mindset into the abundance mindset. Like,
Yes.
yeah, like I'm not depriving myself. Look at all of this amazing, delicious, healthy, real, whole, unprocessed food that's nourishing my body. And when we can reframe those limiting beliefs around deprivation into abundance, it just, like you said, it makes the lifestyle so much more fun and easy. And you feel so much more grateful for what you do eat.
Yeah. I think about all the foods that I now know what they taste like. Like when my palate was just focused on flour and sugar, I missed out on so many other awesome foods that I have never had really the interest in experimenting with before. You really realize how narrow you were eating before. You think you're going to give up a bunch of stuff, but really you were eating so narrow,
Yes.
all the crap and the junk food, and then when you stop doing that, it opens up this world like, "Oh, I wonder what pomegranate tastes like." And then you can have any fruit, so you just buy all this different fruit and you start playing around and tasting these different things, and it's so much fun.
It is so fun. Yeah, and with the it's interesting how every 14 days I read somewhere, every 14 days your taste buds change.
Hmm,
So, like, we have different taste buds than we did 14 days ago. And so what in the beginning, our palate is used to the sugar and flour and it masks all the flavor, but so what doesn't taste good to you in the beginning, like, and just give it time and your taste buds do change and you can start to really bring out the flavors and like the natural
yeah.
sweetness in
Oh,
foods and vegetables and fruits.
yes. I have a recipe in Tasty Freedom 1, in the original Tasty Freedom, that's called I think it's just called apple pie, and it just counts as a fruit serving because it's all it is, fruit, but it is like half, like 3 ounces of mashed bananas, then the ripe ones with the brown spots, because those are the sweetest. And then equal amount, 3 ounces of shredded apple, and I take, like, a cheese grater and grate a fresh apple, equal parts apple and mashed banana, and then there's just a splash of vanilla extract, which can count as just, like, a free condiment, and then a dash of salt and a dash of cinnamon, and stir it up with a spoon. It seriously tastes exactly like apple pie. There you go. You have this something that tastes so good and it's so much healthier for you. And so my cookbook has all kinds of those like little replacement recipes for things you'd miss. They're very much full of comfort food and husbands like them, people's kids like them.
Yeah,
And
my kids love
yeah.
them.
Oh,
My
good.
my kids love the muffins, and it's so good to help to introduce the healthy real food to them in a way that healthy and less processed. So, Laurie, what are some of your favorite recipes? So you talked about the apple pie one, that's a great one. What are some of the others that are some of your very favorites from your cookbooks?
Oh, let's see, this time of year, I love to make I just made a couple batches of creamy butternut squash soup, which is in the original Tasty Freedom cookbook, and it's got cardamom in it and cinnamon, and it's just this yummy, hearty, warm, cozy soup, and it freezes really well. Actually, most of my recipes have freezing tips at the bottom of the recipes, tips on how to freeze and batch things.
Which is so great because planning and preparing ahead of time really is like the key to success in this lifestyle. So having some meals in the freezer just to be able to get to quickly and when it's like one of those nights when you don't have time to cook, that's a great option.
Yeah, and another favorite this time of year, I have a freezer full right now of again, this is from the original Tasty Freedom cookbook, but it's called apple pumpkin spice muffins. And lately I've been making them instead of as muffins, I've been taking the single recipe and making it as like a 6-inch round pan.
Mm.
And or you can do it like in a big sheet pan and cut them into servings and they end up in big kind of rectangles or squares. But those freeze really well, and it's like a pumpkin apple and by the way, the reason the apple pie recipe was even created is because I was in the middle of making the apple pumpkin spice muffins, and for that recipe, you grate the apples on a cheese grater. And I was like, "I have this random bit of apples left over. I grated too much." And so then I was like, "I wonder what this banana would taste like in there and some cinnamon," and it was, like, amazing. So that made the cookbook, but basically, there's a lot of crossover ingredients like that, like, whenever you're in the middle of making one of my recipes, sometimes I have a tip at the bottom and says, "While you have the can of crushed pineapple open, you can use the remainder of that for pineapple pecan overnight oats on page such and such, because I try to be really, like, helpful and efficient with food prep,
Mhm.
giving people
Right.
ideas on it's not a one-off, like, "You're gonna eat this way tomorrow." You are, and
Mm.
so let's plan for tomorrow while you're at it,
Yeah.
and if you're gonna make this salad once, you might as well make 3 of them and eat it through the rest of the week because 'cause you're gonna keep eating this way, and you love it, it tastes good. So, I don't just have a recipe book with the today in mind. It
Mhm.
it's it's in mind for the whole week or next month, like, it's putting things up in the freezer, putting things doubling, tripling, quadrupling the recipe, and I use a food journal a lot every day. I that is a habit that I really notice if I get away from writing things in the food journal the night before. Those are the days that I eat more than I should have on the quantities that
Mhm.
I did. And so that's another like habit that I always notice that I do better off when I go back to.
Yeah, me too. One of the foundational habits that I think is so important is writing down your food the night before and just eating what you wrote down the next day. And yeah, absolutely. It's so essential for bypassing willpower and using that higher part of your brain to make food decisions instead of the caveman brain that wants instant gratification.
Yeah, and it's amazing how it works. It really does work to you don't need your willpower. It's
Yeah.
absolutely phenomenal. Between those 2 habits of having your food prepped ahead of time
Mhm.
and writing your food down and prepping it the night before, then tomorrow comes and you can say to yourself, it's not about, "Ooh, I'm starting to get hungry for lunch. What do I feel like?" No, you walk over to your food journal and you're like, "Oh, looks like I'm having broccoli salad. Oh, yeah. Oh, yesterday's Lori already made that for me.
Yeah.
I love that." Like, the little fairy came in and knew I would be hungry and tempted to eat something else, but there it is. It's already made for me. I mean,
Yes.
you did it yourself, but it
Like
almost
a
feels like
gift to your future self. It really is like a little gift that you give to your future self. Because our future self is probably gonna be tired and willpower depleted and has a million things on their to-do list, and it's hard to make healthy food choices in that state. So,
I have a Facebook page that people can follow if they want to. It's my GFSF kitchen, and that stands for my gluten-free, sugar-free kitchen. It's gluten-free, my GFSF kitchen, and the gluten-free part is just because as I was starting this way of eating, I discovered that I am sensitive to gluten, and so when I realized cutting out all flour and sugar would actually be what I should be doing anyway because I shouldn't be having gluten. When I first started, I just called it I never had a million years thought anyone would follow it. I started that page because I was creating some awesome stuff and I wanted to remember how I made it. And so I took photos of it, I wrote down the recipe, hand wrote the recipe, and I would be like, I just need a place to store all these things I'm creating. So I created this Facebook page and lo and behold, I don't know, I was like, "What? 10 people are following this?" I had no idea because I never was trying to put it out there, and then it was growing and growing because then I was sharing my recipes on different social media sites on people who eat no sugar, no flour, and it is now up to we're just shy of 16,000 followers.
that's so fun.
It
That's
is fun.
amazing. It's just so neat to see how it's grown and how many people that you've helped with your recipes and your meal plans and everything. Yeah, I definitely recommend you, and I'm so proud of you, and it's so fun. I'm so grateful for you coming today. I want to just leave some time for the people who are here on the call. So it's so great that you guys came live on the call. I want to give you guys time if anyone has questions for Laurie or for me, yeah, we would love to answer those questions. So you can go ahead and just put your questions in the chat or raise your hand, your virtual hand, by clicking, what is it? There's a place, yeah, under reactions, you can raise your virtual hand. And we would love to answer any questions that you have for Lori or for me about your program. So start thinking about that and putting that in. So Patricia, go ahead.
Lori, I just want to say thank you. I have both your cookbooks and your holiday recipes, and thank you. You signed my books, and just think, yeah, just amazing. And I did your 1 week plan just recently. I was so excited because you have the grocery list, you have all the prep to do. And yeah, it was fun. And I've done your 2 week one too quite a while ago.
Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you for helping so many of us stay on plan and not get if you just I don't know, for me, if I just do the same things over and over, it's like I feel like I'm missing out. And
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
recipes are really helping. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I had the pleasure of meeting Patricia in person. In October, I was invited to be the keynote speaker at the a Michigan conference of folks who eat no sugar, no flour, and I got to meet Patricia in person, and
Yeah.
so definitely consider you a friend. And it's fun to hear that you did my PDF 1 week meal plan recently, and Yeah, that's a great way for people to resume, get back on track. If you've started this and like fallen away and now you're having a hard time getting back on track, following my 1 week or 2 week meal plans is the perfect way to effortlessly get yourself back on track because all the brain power and the thinking and planning and organizing is all done for you. You just follow the daily prompts of what to do, and it does make it easy and yummy.
Yes, yummy. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Yeah, totally. Like I think for people who are just starting out or like they don't know what to eat, it can be really helpful to get that guidance with your meal plans. And or if you're bored, it sometimes we get bored with just getting in the routine of eating the same thing all the time. What sometimes I just look for one new recipe to try each week or something, and that's just enough to keep it interesting and to mix it up. So, yes, I love it. Any other questions that you guys have for Laurie today? Trying to. So, Janelle says, I love the idea of meal prepping today as a gift to my tomorrow self. Isn't that a great one? Yeah, it's like
Oh,
such a gift.
I have my background blurred, so I don't know. Can you see my water bottle?
Yeah, right there.
Boy, the blurred background is messing with it. But this blue circle right here is I made some stickers and they're on my website, but this blue sticker says taking care of tomorrow's me.
Mm,
And I made these stickers because I put them on my water bottle. They're for sale on my website. But I put them on my food scale, my digital food scale. And it's just like a loving kind of reminder to myself to before I clean up the kitchen after dinner, let me just stay punched in for 5, 10 more minutes and put my lunch together in a container. Tomorrow's me will be so glad I took care of her. Yeah.
mm,
If I try to treat things like one meal at a time, think of you have to gear back up. All your energy has to gear back up and start over. But if you think about it like you're punched in, you're making tonight's dinner in the same moment off to the side. You might as well put something together for tomorrow's breakfast. And you might have crossover ingredients that you can actually use let's say, some of those carrots for your lunch, and also maybe you can use some for dinner, and you've got the same ingredients out, but you can overlap your efforts like that. So, taking care of tomorrow's me is a huge concept that if you can take that to heart, it'll be a game changer.
yeah. I think it's really common for us who have been on that dieting roller coaster for so many years to hate ourselves to healthy. Just, I want to change because I hate how I am right now, or something like that. But I think that mantra, taking care of me tomorrow, or the tomorrow me, it's like loving yourself to healthy. And I think that's an important shift in our mindset that we have to make not is like making it more of an active self-love, not that you're not good enough right now. Like you are, you're wonderful and you're beautiful right now. You don't have to hate yourself to healthy. You can love yourself all the way to your goal body.
I love that. It's so true. And I think another way of self love is, and this was new to me, and it's probably new to other people too, which is taking care of yourself in a way that means like making your own food, cooking, making your own food, coming back to basics like that. I tell you what, when you are making your own food, muffins, cakes, breads that darn well don't have sugar and flour or artificial sweetener, and you're losing weight, steadily losing weight eating this way, it can start to feel like I will say, let me just say it from my own point of view. I know darn that no one has ever loved me like that. No one has ever loved me to that depth that I am now loving myself. My mom was a good mom. She took care of us. She cooked meals and everything. But I was the I was receiving that as part of the family. It was like she was doing it for my dad, she was doing it for the other siblings. There's something so amazingly special when you're taking care of yourself, structuring your cooking, your eating all around what you know is gonna make yourself better and feel better. That depth of self-love is like no other. And instead of looking at it as, "Oh, I don't like to cook," or, "Oh, that's a lot of work," or, "Isn't there something I can buy at the store that would be convenient?" You might be missing out on this level of, fulfillment that taps into your soul in a way you didn't expect. That sure is how it hits me.
Hmm. That's such a great way to think about it, Larry. I love that. And I think that's a really powerful uh, paradigm shift right there, too. That it just being able to focus on it as an act of love, not as a burden that we have to. That we have to grocery shop, we have to cut the vegetables, like, just
Yeah.
enjoy it and think of it as a way to show love to yourself and to care for yourself because you're worth it. We're all worth it. We all have worth and value no matter what we weigh. We all have the opportunity to strive to become a better version of ourselves, and this is a amazing opportunity that we have to feed ourselves like real food. We're so blessed to have such an abundance of food. You can lose weight without calorie counting and depriving yourself and starving yourself without white knuckling it. When you follow this strategy, it really is so um, life changing.
It is. Erin, may I share a definition too that might inspire people of
Please.
some um we talked about how eating is a skill, and that's how I look at it. Eating is a life skill. And so I have defined something, and maybe you have a way of sharing this typed out later, but The Skill of Eating by Laurie Lundgren. To learn to eat in such a way that eliminates all cravings for sweets and junk food, such that we lose our excess weight, get into our right sized body, and maintain a steady weight year after year, all without relying on weight loss medication or even constant exercise.
Mm, absolutely. Larry, will you send that to me? And I'll put that in the show notes for people because I think that's really beautiful. Angela said in the comments, I also love that I'm feeding my kids your recipes, and I know that they're all whole ingredients. It makes me feel like such a great mom. That's so great.
Erin, Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, go
Uh,
ahead.
Can you see me? I can't. I'm just looking.
Uh-uh.
Okay.
I know. Sorry, we have it pinned so we can't see you. But if you
Oh,
get
oh, good, because I'm in my nightgown.
no, but yeah,
No,
go ahead.
but anyway, I just wanted to tell you, Laurie. Oh my goodness, I get the biggest kick out of watching your behind the scenes, how you created that cookbook and all your artwork. Because I used to scrapbook and doodle a lot, and I just and you really inspired me. And so I started doodling in my food journal and on the side of it, just my little pictures, and I either draw a cross or a heart in a little square every day, and just elaborate on those two little things. But if I did good, I put a cross in it. If I had a love myself day, I put a heart. But anyway, I love that part in the and I your first cookbook is just weathered and loved and spilled on and finger feathered. I use it all the time. And the second cookbook I'm starting to use it more and more. I've just gotten in the habit. I just like to rotate the same recipes. And I actually asked my family, my son for Christmas, they asked me what I wanted. And I said a food saver machine because I go through so many baggies and things. So I thought, oh, I'll try it. I know they have one. So that's my big Christmas gift I'm excited about. And to make more freezer foods and more batch cooking. And but I love this. I love that you came on tonight with Erin because I do the program, but I struggle with the nibbling and the eat. Like I have two grandkids. Erin knows this, and it's just and the when you said the part that really struck me tonight was the tomorrow Lori. I'm thinking, oh, I need to think about the tomorrow Susan, the today Susan, the yesterday Susan, and put myself like that. And then when you said you've never had anybody love you like that,
And that I always think I would treat a loved one, I would fix their meal every day with love and make sure they had only that. And just this tonight, I really got to reflect on why can't I do that for me? Because I'm so close, but I don't do it, but I'm inspired now. It's okay. Starting tomorrow, I've got my food ready. I just need to quit the excess. Does that make
Yeah.
sense what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not the rat lab like you were. I need to be the rat lab
Yeah.
or the
Well,
lab. Yeah.
that that is awesome, and are you familiar with my Dub Club?
Yes, I am.
Hey, creating the Dub Club, I'll tell you what, if people are here don't know what that stands for, it was my way of helping my own, um I was prone to night eating also, like, in my maintenance years. Now in the first 9 months of weight loss, I really was a perfect lab rat, but as I was maintaining and now I'm over 3.5 years of maintenance, so I've got longer life of maintenance than I have on the weight loss, and the night eating was something that would get to me, I would nibble, and so I told myself that if you can go all the way from dinner until breakfast, DUB, then that I've noticed that helps keep my weight maintained. If I have my lunch and my dinner and then I nibble at night, my weight creeps up. And I started the Dub Club as my own accountability, and now there's lots of people who are, like, virtual members in the Dub Club, but it really helps, so I write in my food journal, "Dub Club," no matter what, and then when I glance at that, I'm like, "Oh, that's right, I'm in the Dub Club. What am I thinking? I'm not gonna go over to the fridge and have a nibble of this or that. I'm a Dub Clubber. I'm a Dubber." And so that's another sticker I have, by the way, is the Dub Club member.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's on my website, which is www.mygfsfkitchen.com. It's the same as my Facebook page, but just throw the www at the front and the .com at the end. But yeah, and the reason the Dub Club was born too is because my whole past was I was a night eater. I was always like binging on food at night. And so when I started this way of eating, I could not believe the miracle that who am I, Lori, who actually goes all the way from dinner until breakfast without eating anything? I couldn't believe how good I felt waking up in the morning. I didn't feel a brick in my stomach. I didn't wake up with shame and regret. It was like, wow, this is like a totally new way of life. And then, so when I was in maintenance and I was getting slippery about that and I was eating at night, I would visualize how good I felt waking up in the morning with no shame and no regret. And so I would visualize how victorious and proud of myself that I felt. And so for me, it was like the Dub Club is combined with visualization. And I'm like, I just visualize that victorious feeling, waking up, my eyes open for the first time, like, I did it. I went all the way from dinner until breakfast. And some people think Dub Club as done until breakfast, but I don't like the negative connotation it puts in my head. It makes me think, oh, I'm done until breakfast. That's it. That's all I get. I like it as a positive, and I see of it as a personal challenge. I'm gonna go all the way from dinner until breakfast, and then in my brain, I'm hearing 2 names of meals, dinner and breakfast. That doesn't bother me, but I think the word "done" makes me go, "Oh."
Oh, I love what a yeah, that's really fun. I think surrounding yourself with accountability and support, like your Facebook group is an awesome resource for people, and connection is so important in this lifestyle. So, thank you so much, Laurie, for sharing that with us. In the comments, we have, yeah, great mentality for optimism. Go ahead, Patricia.
Can you explain your janitor sticker for them? That's cool too.
Yes, I have a janitor analogy, and it goes right in line with the Dub Club. I picture when I'm trying to avoid night eating or I'm trying to avoid snacking between meals, I have this analogy where think about a classroom or an elementary school, and you think about how the janitor, in order for him to clean up and sweep out and do his work, he waits until the classroom is empty. If he were to try to clean the school building, if he would try to clean the whole school building and there's always children in there, he couldn't clean anything out. So I picture like our weight loss as our fasting hours between meals, and especially from dinner until breakfast. That gives our bodies the chance to let our janitor in and clean up and start using our stored fat as fuel. If we're always putting food in our mouth as fuel and nibble, that's the same thing as kids are always in the classroom and the janitor can't come in and do his work. So that's my other sticker. There's a 4-pack of stickers, and that sticker says, "I heart my janitor," or "I love my janitor."
Oh, what a great analogy. Yeah, that's so helpful. Yeah, the peace with food and your body, it really is possible, and it doesn't have to be hard when you have a mindset of unstoppability, when you have a winning strategy and consistently execute that plan. You can achieve your goal body. And even if you've tried and failed countless times, it's anything is possible for you. So thank you, Laurie, for being an inspiration to us. I am so grateful for you and grateful for all of you for showing up today. Next month, our Monday minds or sorry, next month, our Wednesday wellness is we're gonna have a book club on the Atomic Habits, which of course is just like one of those life-changing books if you haven't read it, or if you have read it and it's been a while, this is gonna be a great review and just to read it again. I encourage you guys to read Atomic Habits this month. And then on January 8th, I think, let me just double check the time. January 8th at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll meet back here for our next Wednesday Wellness. Thank you so much, Laurie, for coming today. We just love you. Thank you for being an inspiration and sharing all of your recipes to help make this lifestyle easier and more fun.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you so much for having me, and you're such an inspiration, and I just love knowing you and that you help so many people, and it's been awesome being on with you.
Oh, thank you, Laurie. If there's anyone out there who's struggling, please reach out to me or Laurie. So, one of the things that I offer is a free 45-minute coaching call to anyone who's wanting to do a sugar and flour free lifestyle. Coaching and help is available. You can learn more about the things that I offer on my website at www.healthyrealfood.com. I have a recipe book and some free offers there that can help you with your program as well. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love my coaching program. If you're struggling with your sugar and flour-free lifestyle and want to lose weight for the last time, I can help you. I guarantee that you achieve your goal body within a year, or I will coach you for free until you do. Just imagine living in your goal body and having peace with food. Your success is guaranteed. To learn more about how to get support, guidance, and accountability so you can find peace with food, achieve your goal body this year, and have more energy, visit www.healthyrealfood.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the upcoming free challenge to learn the success framework. And click the link to my schedule for a free 30-minute one-to-one coaching call so we can get you started on your success path. You have the power to create the life that you want. This is the year of you. I'm cheering you on. Now go win the day. You got this.